Aloha and welcome to Late Night with Lava. This is the very first one, so I'd like to welcome everybody here. Thank you kindly for being here. This is going to be a completely different format in that it's not going to have anything necessarily that affects the markets and not news to do with the financials, but this is a little more relaxed and also including some of the, if you will, darker side of things that I would like to discuss, some things that are food for thought, and get a little more of your basically input on these, if you would. Through the comments, I'm going to ask your input on some things. I've been also looking at probably putting more on Substack to kind of sidestep the shadow banning issue that I'm having, as well as the censorship. I have to be very careful about what I say here and assure everybody that this is all just my opinion and that you shouldn't listen to me at all. Just a YouTuber, and you can make your own decisions on things. So, looking at Substack, also looking at still doing a chat on Discord, live chat, probably Wednesday, 10:15 a.m. That's Eastern Standard Time, along with like basically the market. So after the first opening volume, basically. So if there's interest in that, please let me know. So with this, I would really like to go into what happened with this event. Some people were calling it basically the doomsday event, doomsday eclipse. Nothing really major happened. I think there was minor earthquake in the northeast, but other than that, it was not what people were talking about. So I wanted to be right in the dead center of this because I chose to have this experience. I've seen quite a few eclipses, but not in the complete totality of one that was going to be of this magnitude. So I traveled to the event. I had planned it long before. I had actually gone to Dallas because it was supposed to be actually, it was in the middle of it. However, they had major cloud cover and storms coming in. So I opted last minute. I got very fortunate. I found a flight to Indiana for later that day. And so I had the opportunity, because I had everything set up, that I could drive through Texas, basically Dallas area, and I drove out to some of the small towns. So I just want to share this with you because this was a blessing. I had a lot of wonderful people that helped me out. They were just very kind, and I kept getting offered extra things. It was just very nice environment to be around. So I know a lot of you are from Texas and you're talking about Texit. I just hope all of America can get back to this. I got the opportunity to drive through, see Americana, cattle grazing out in the field, small farms, gardens, the kind of thing that growing up was kind of what we had built in America, and the dream that seems to be kind of retreating now, if you will. So I went to Dallas, and there was actually quite a large bit of people there. I met people from everywhere, traveling from all over the world to come and experience this. So I took the flight up to Indiana, and then I got a rental car from there, from Evansville, and drove into the 100% area. Found a small lake area that I had looked up ahead of time as a contingent area. It was behind the fairgrounds, right on a lake. Very quiet, had geese and birds that I could observe, and there were very few people there. So during the actual totality itself, you get what is expected when the sky goes dark. You get all of a sudden it's from broad daylight, burning warm sun, to the quiet of night in the span of 5 minutes. Streetlights came on and the stars come out. Now, I'd forgotten about the mosquitoes. They came out too, a bit, but not too bad. But watch the animals bed down and imagining in ancient times with the darkness, and then seeing what looked like a massive hole in the sky. So all of the animals were pretty chill. There were no major issues with them. But there were a couple of things that I would like to go over that happened during this. One of them being um, NASA firing rockets right into the dead of the darkness. So basically, these were sounding rockets that they were saying were for scientific experiments to check the region of our atmosphere, the ionosphere, which is too low for satellites, but it's also too high for weather balloons. So some people caught these on camera and they thought they were UFOs, and they really weren't anything like that. But at any rate, watching those rockets, I do think there was more to them. But if you look at this photograph, this was actually what it looked like, and you could see the solar flares very clearly looking at this with the naked eye and seeing them like jet out. They were this hot pink red color. That's very much what it looked like. So it was quite the experience, and I was very happy I went. Then we saw the sunshine spreading in a line coming towards on the horizon that was marking the end of it. Seemed very symbolic, but I was watching the sunlight spread and then basically sunrise on the horizon for the second time that day. So I also want to mention that the same day, the Hadron Collider over in CERN, they fired that up as well. Now, this is the world's largest particle accelerator. And there's a couple of things that have been going on with that as well. I think and am looking more into that this has an effect on memory, is the way that it is manifesting, but really more than that, there's some time warpage going on. So time warpage, memory loss, or reorganization. So I'm going to give you an example. There's a couple of them, and it's talking about like old logos. So for instance, Fruit of the Loom, what do you remember as a logo? That was one of the initial ones. Secondly, Chick-fil-A. How do you spell Chick-fil-A? Particularly chick. So I remember one thing very specifically, and I'd like to hear what you think about this in the comments. So these are the things that I would like to talk about and go over more. So after this all happened, met a lot of people. It was really, really nice. There were a couple of, I struggle slightly with some of the very strong Southern accents. I know that it's English, but there's just a few things that it's very different to me, the way they pronounce things. So that was interesting, but everyone's so nice. I went through, basically, there were no flights out because in Evansville, there were 2 flights out a day and they were overbooked for the next 3 days. So what I decided to do was take a rental car and drive to the next major airport that I could get a flight from, which happened to be Charlotte, North Carolina. So that gave me the opportunity to drive through 4 other states. So Illinois, Indiana, I went through West Virginia and down through North Carolina. So having been in, was that 5 states for the day prior to flying back. So very long day driving. It was almost 10 hours, I believe, to get back. And by that time I was so tired, I had to test myself, which I'm going to share with you in a moment. But first, I just want to apologize. I could not get this out yesterday or the day before like I wanted to. So these images, so these are part of basically, I believe it was a Japanese psychoanalyst, that these images can measure how tired a person is or having episodes. The one on the left will appear to pulse, and the one on the right will appear to rotate. So being as tired as I was looking at this, that one was rotating tremendously fast. So I couldn't stay up. I had to recover. So, but I did still get my first Java news out. So hopefully that helps some of you. So with that, I just want to bring up what's going on with this, bringing in mind the clarity of why we're here, the purpose, and what the most important things are. And if you talk to elder people, and I've spent some time doing this, none of them wish they worked more. Love family and friends. You never know when you're going to lose them. You never know when the last time you will see them will be. So please, love your family, love your friends. Have an experience. And that's why I did this, because I'm choosing to have experiences and live life. So don't be afraid of what's coming. There's a tremendous amount of things coming, but we're prepared for that. I can prepare you for that, help you. There's others that are willing to help as well. So you're not alone with this. And I just want to make sure, because we've got upcoming the Iran war with what's going on. Also, I noted up there, Passover is the 22nd of April, and now their Ramadan has ended today. So strikes have just increased in likelihood for the next week or so. So be cautious in larger crowds. We could have some deflation, which would be a depression, superinflation or hyperinflation. We're looking at extreme weather, crop losses, probably shortage of foods, contaminated water, electrical outages, internet outages, or hacks. So get to know people you can trade with and rely on in these specific situations. If you can grow a small garden or even just patio garden, anything helps. Okay. So from this, I'm looking at having that chat on Discord Wednesday, probably 10:15 in the morning if there's enough interest. If I can just get 4 people interested in showing up, we'll do a live conversation and see what you would like to do. I would love to have your input. So if you would, hit the like button if you haven't already. If you do indeed like this format, let me know. Let me know what you would like to see changed. I appreciate you all very much. Have a good evening.